Hey guys, Matt here. Hope everybody's doing well. In this video, we're going to switch it back to comics. We're not opening anything, but I do want to talk about the event that occurred involving the CGC comic holders that have been tampered with. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So let's talk about the incident, scandal, whatever you want to call it, involving CGC. So back on December 28th of last year, 2023, CGC posted some information that they became aware of someone, or maybe it's multiple people, tampering with the CGC comic holders. And as a result of that, was apparently owning up to it, making the community aware. CGC, for all of you don't know, have graded millions of comic books and other collectibles. So they are the most well-known and probably highly regarded grading company when it comes to comics. Now, don't get me wrong, there's CBCS and PGX and whatever else you want to do, but I mean, I think most people can agree that CGC is kind of the the big one out there grading this amount of comic books. And so what was this, in essence, scandal, or they call it an incident, but it looks like it's multiple incidents, which we'll talk about, because it affects a couple hundred books. So it's not like one or two that we're talking about here. But ultimately, my understanding is that this incident involves one or two types of events taking place. And I'll just give you my take. And like I said, I'm interested to know what you guys think, what you guys know. In the comments down below, let me know if you've got some other information or what your thoughts are on this. But in essence, what someone would do is they would take a highly regarded, I would say it was, a key issue that was in a 9.8 holder. And this could be, it looked like, based on it, whether it was a Hulk 181 or it was Amazing Spider-Man 300. There were all different types of books, but ultimately what we know is that these were books that were, 9.8, maybe 9.6 condition. The individual or individuals found a way to open up the case without, in essence, without destroying or tampering with the integrity of the holder for the comic. And they were able to basically pull the book out, pull this 9.8 book out, and reinsert a lower grade or lower quality book. And what they would do is, once they get that back, they would resubmit that to CGC for a reholdering, which in essence is just saying, hey, the holder is damaged, or I don't like the label, and CGC has a service where you can send it back in and they will reholder it. And in most cases, can't say it's every case because they put it on their website, but in most cases, they'll just kind of switch out the holder, not touch the grade, and give it a new number and all. And in this process, in essence, you are kind of trying to wipe away any evidence by doing this, as the person submitting it, that the book has been tampered with. So you're taking a lower copy of whatever the key book is that you want. Let's say it was a 9.8, you pull that out, you take a 7.5 or an 8, you resubmit it in there, and then resubmit that for the reholdering process. And it, in essence, is supposed to, kind of wipe away the evidence that this book has been changed or affected. Because grading is subjective. We always talk about that on the channel. And, one person's 9.8 is another person's 9.6. That just depends on the grader and the day. But, by doing this, they're in essence cheating the person and then selling that book for a 9.8. And, they're keeping that that other copy that they pulled out, and they could resubmit it for grading. They could do other things, but in essence, you're being defrauded. That is my understanding of option 1. So let's talk about option 2. Option 2 is that they basically have that 9/8 holder now that's been tampered with. The book's been pulled out of it. And what they do is they put in a raw copy of the of a specialty book, same book, but with a Mark Jewelers insert or something that makes it much more unique or high end. And so, before recently, CGC would not notate any type of newsstand or Mark Jewelers. They didn't do it. So now that person puts in a lower copy with a Mark Jewelers insert in and says, hey guys, now you guys notate this. Look, this copy that I had that was graded at a 9/8, even though it's a lower grade copy, has a Mark Jewelers insert. So please, add that to the label and notate it. And my understanding is that happened as well. So now you've taken a fairly 9/8 copy of a book that's, fairly pricey, because all of these, 9/8s are going to be more pricey investments. And you've almost tripled or quadrupled the value because it's a Mark Jeweler insert, which is a very unique type of book. There's just not as many of them out there. And for those of you who don't know, Mark Jeweler was the a while back in the early 80s and 90s and all, they advertised jewelry in some of the comic books, and these were more for military bases and things like that, but they're rare. It wasn't something you would get typically at the local newsstand or the convenience store, the comic book store. You would get them off military bases because people would buy jewelry that way. So those are rarer comics, and those are, nicer ones as far as more sought out and more valuable to some collectors. So they would stick a lower grade with a Mark Jewelers insert and then get it reholdered. And that would come back as that 9/8 with a new label that notes Mark Jeweler. And that would then, on top of everything that we just talked about, increase the value substantially. So, those are, in essence, from my understanding, the two kind of ways that this is kind of played out. Now, CGC has notified the comic community and the collectors and put this on their site, and good for them for doing it. They posted a statement, and I will show you the statement and I'll read it to you just so you understand. And it says, the Certified Collectibles Group, CGC, which includes Certified Guarantee Company, CCG and CGC, is aware of an incident involving an individual tampering with CGC comic holders. Based on our initial review, we believe that the incident affects a few hundred comic books. CCG exists to protect the collecting community, and in the last 36 years, we have certified more than 85 million collectibles, each one backed by a comprehensive guarantee. The trust that we have built with our community sometimes makes us a target of bad actors, and despite our vigilance, this individual tampered with some of our holders. If you purchase one of the books that these individual tampered with, we will ensure that you are appropriately compensated for losses arising from any failures in our services. We expect to share a list of books that we believe are impacted as soon as possible. We have also retained a leading private investigation service and outside counsel to conduct a comprehensive review of this incident and our processes, and to help ensure that this individual is held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. We have already made significant improvements to our processes as a result of this incident, and we will continue to take appropriate steps to ensure that this type of incident does not happen again. And then we expect to share more information when we have it. In the meantime, if you have any questions or would like to share any information with CCG, please reach out to us and then it has the email address, reportfraud@collectiblesgroup.com. So number one, credit to CGC. They've graded millions and millions of comic books. This is a few hundred that at least we are aware of. Now, we don't know how long this was going on. We don't know if this is the only individual. I find it hard to believe that this is the only individual who found a way to do it. Maybe this is the only individual that did a few hundred books. Maybe there's something more. But I highly doubt, in my personal opinion, that this is the first bad actor. I mean, you get it with any type of collectibles or anything like that. You get it with cards, cutting cards, things like that. You get it with paint or artwork and stuff. So the collectible market this is not new to that. This is not new. It just may be new to most modern collectors and CGC comics, at least where this is more evident. And this was found, here's the crazy thing. This was found by like the collectors themselves, the groups, the forums. I'm part of some of them. They're the sleuths that really did this. I don't know, at least please let me know if you know something more in the comments down below, that this wasn't really a investigation that CGC turned up. This is purchasers and collectors that are actually following these things and all that have made this determination and brought it to CGC's attention, which that's kind of one of the things I find very interesting is that, had they not done this, how long would this have gone on? Could this have gone on longer? I guess we'll never know. And those are kind of the concerns I have. Will I stop grading with CGC because of it? No. I mean, I think CGC is a very reputable company. They've been doing this longer than anyone else, and they have multiple different companies throughout the collectible group with cards and coins and other things. So one of the other things I found interesting, and I'll post a picture of it, is Go Collect. So Go Collect had made a comment on their forums. They were doing high resolution scans of nearly every graded comic book that they've been doing. So I believe that they are working with CGC on this, but they had kind of posted a statement that this data that they've been saving on the photographs and the sales and things that they do are now going to be helping CGC, and they're going to be working on cracking down on fraudulent activity. And also that Go Collect is kind of implementing a new functionality to do this on their website. So, good for Go Collect. I am not subscribed to them, so I've got no interest in it, but I find that's really nice that they're going to be assisting, and that new implementations of methods are going to be coming out to hopefully better protect the comic book community, because this is kind of what happens. Someone finds a chink in the armor and you find out how to patch it. So that was, the take on it. Now, I will tell you that January 3rd rolls around and CGC updates their news article and their website on what's going on. In fact, the update that gets posted on January 3rd lists the books that they're, at least at this point, because we don't know exactly, aware of that had, they believed been tampered with. And we understand that per CGC on this post that there are about 350 comic books affected. And then they list the comic books with the, the impacted books with the website and all. To you and me, 350 is a lot. To CGC, believe it or not, I would assume 350 is probably a drop in the bucket. But what's interesting is, we're talking older books for the most part. We're looking at, Amazing Spider-Man's, from 1963. And these are like 7.5s. They're not even all 9.8s. 7.5s, 6s, things of that nature, where they're getting swapped out for an even lower copy. Most of them seem to be Amazing Spider-Mans. You see a lot of 194s, 9.8s. I think there was a ton of 300s. Mark Jewers, as I said, you're going to see some of those in the list, and I'll leave a link to the list and the news article that CGC posted below. But this is really interesting as to what was going on. I mean, was this one guy? Is there multiple actors doing this? 350 books is a lot. How long was that going on for? There's a lot of questions and not a ton of answers at this point in time. 181s, the popular keys are going to be the ones that you're going to be seeing people screw with. What I did see on the forums, and someone actually did a video, and one of my buddies, who's another collector, he's a even bigger collector than I am, had literally, sent me the link to this video, and I'm going to show it. And, and I believe it was from Immaculate Comics. And I'm going to show this video not because I want anybody to try and do this, or I recommend this, or anything like that. Just the opposite. I'm a collector. But I want to at least show people what is going on. So this is the things that you at least have an idea, that you understand what is it that the issue is. How could this happen? How are people doing this? What are we looking for? So when CGC does change its processes, how are they changing them? What can we expect to see? So, having said that, I'm going to post the video, so you can see this one that they had, that Immaculate Comics had did, kind of showing what people are doing on this, because I do think it's important. And then, as always, guys, when you're done, let me know what your comments are down below. Are you concerned? Are you actually even checking your books that you buy? Do you go on the CGC website and punch in the number and look at it and do any kind of background before you buy books? Some people don't, some people do. I'm interested to your thoughts down below. What do you think the new implementations or processes are going to be going forward? And do you think this is limited to only CGC? Do you think that they can do this, or that someone's found a way to do this with CBCS? And the only reason I say that, and I know people will laugh and say, well, CBCS is, CGC is a big one. Yeah. But you know what? When it comes to money, even a little money extra, that somebody can screw out of somebody else or defraud them, they're going to do it, because it's not going to get that kind of, if they can pop through a couple books. This might have been one where just, people got greedy, and comic book collectors are notorious for looking and doing research. But then again, maybe you get someone who's not. So let me know your comments down below. I'm interested to see what you guys think. And as always, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.